supports can flip into resistances and vice versa. So eventually, if the divergence and the butterfly play out, and you somehow break this supply line with the ticker change and all the other things, the target of a breakout of this would be 1355, and then the stop.
Well, that was over a week ago. I said 1355. And what did the price close at today on Fisker? 1431. You got it. We did it, boys and girls. Fisker, crazy day, went up 30%. Super hyped, obviously. Been posting it since the PCT of the bullish butterfly at 896 and even before that. So hopefully a lot of people here who own Fisker are a lot happier that the price is not under 10 anymore. It was a crazy run up. So yeah, we're going to get into the technical analysis. If you want me to look at any assets, to 17 people here, drop it in the chat. Super hype. But yeah, just going to be going over Fisker, Bitcoin, bunch of different things. Thank you for the support, Starry. What's up, Lander? Welcome everybody. Aside from that, if you support what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I think like 80% of my viewers are not subscribed. So if that's you, come on, it's just free analysis. And then aside from that, I set up my tip page. So if you want to send me a tip, it is in the description. It'll pop up on the stream with whatever message you put. So there's that. Let's put on some music and let's get to it. Should be working. Let me just make the audio good. Piton, got you. Let me just fix my TV. Give me 1 second. Alright, we are here. We got the music on. I think that was a little bit too loud with my mic. Should be good now. Print says analysts at Cohen initiated coverage of the Fisker with an outperform rating and 22 price target. I did see the 22 price target. We will talk about that. As well as the S1 form or whatever it was with outstanding shares and stuff on Fisker. And we're going to be looking at Piton from Commando, PIC and KCAC from Narissa, DraftKings or Boeing from David, and Kern from Joe. So we're going to be going through everything. You're just going to have to give me some time to go through each chart and get everything down so that traders can make their best decision with the highest probability and risk management. But let's get it started with Fisker and the technicals. So crazy day today, obviously. Basically, I kept on talking about on my Twitter, which is in the bottom left of your screen, that if we held 1088 for long enough, we could see much higher prices. Then we also had 1 hour hidden bullish divergence. We had the bullish butterfly on the daily, 4 hour classic bullish divergence, and then we even had a falling wedge that was created on the 1 hour from a technical standpoint. Now you're going to add that to the fundamentals of Fisker just being listed on the stock market as an electric vehicle company just a week before Biden is elected as the president who supports electric vehicles and renewable energy. And then tie that into the fact that Fisker rang the bell this morning, a whole bunch of catalysts. The market itself went to an all-time high today. So everything was lined up and Fisker went up 30%. Crazy stuff today. In terms of the future, well, we did close over 1355, which was a support for so long, like literally from August all the way up until the dump in October. So we closed over that, which is huge. Back in the range we were in for so long. And really the next resistance after you pass 1355 is 1499. I mean, that's just because there's not much here. Maybe you could say 1429. That was your high on August 25th and pretty much your high on July 29th. But we also had the S1 form, in which I don't actually know too much about. I don't really know what it really means, but people panic sold after hours. Price dropped down to I think like 1280, and then it rallied back up to I think around like 1350. So pretty much still at 1350, but obviously with the panic selling yesterday, pre-market and the open could be a little bit hectic. Also tie that into the fact that the S&P pretty much fell down, and all the indexes kind of fell down towards the end of the day. Not too good, but just keep that in mind. Definitely a decent amount of risk going tomorrow, especially just with the fact that it went up. 63% in about over a week, a little bit over a week. So it went up a lot, and that's just what happens when you have a bullish butterfly harmonic and you hit the PCC and you have a bunch of other catalysts. I know the candles are not loading on the daily chart for whatever reason. It's been super glitchy since the merger, but that was perfectly lined up with the bullish butterfly. And yeah, the easiest way to look at it is, one, you already hit the first target level that I've been showing on stream for over a week, which was 1355. That's right between your 50% and 618 golden retrace of the downsloping channel, and it was also a previous support. You only used it as resistance for like a few minutes. I thought it would be a much tougher resistance, but it got right over it, and then ran a little bit more to close out around, or to get a high of about 1473. And then it's just kind of back around this 1355 price point. So if 1355 can't be held, 1251 is a good support. It was the support on September 4th, and it was also the support on September 24th, and it was used as resistance on October 20th and November 2nd. So 1251 is a great level, but that's assuming 1355 can't be held. If 1355 can be held, 1499 should be next. But just keep in mind it is up about 60%. There's a lot of people who were bag holding, and a lot of people who just want to take profits after, when we had like 99% of people in a loss when the price was under 10. So just keep that all in mind, with the fact that there is still a lot of uncertainty regardless of the short-term good news with the COVID vaccine and how the market is reacting to a Biden win. There is still a bunch of issues economically. I don't think that can be denied, and the market did not close too well to finish up the day today. So that's pretty much the risk. Just know your levels. They're all on the chart right here. And if you want live updates, follow me on my Twitter. It's in the bottom left of your screen. That pretty much goes through Fisker. Now we're going to move on to chat requests. I'm going to make sure to fit Bitcoin in at some point. I just don't know if anybody here is for crypto. I feel like a lot of people here are currently for stocks, but if anybody wants me to look at Bitcoin earlier on, I will. But we will get to it eventually. So now we're going to start off with PIC, Pivotal Investment. Narissa requested that right at the beginning of the stream. Again, to the 18 people here, make sure you drop a like, just free analysis. Hit that subscribe button if you want to tip me, it's in the description. And that's just greatly appreciated. Not monetizing with ads or anything like that. No paid group, just free analysis. So let's get started. PIC, still just right around $10. I feel like, it has been here for over a week now. So it's just kind of in this range between $10 and the 200-day moving average, which is 1020. I just don't understand how volatile it is. It's just like not moving at all. No divergence or anything, but you did bounce off of the $10 support, which is also the support on the 20th of August, and it's obviously a psychological support. So just keep all of that in mind. And yeah, there's not really a lot implying any sort of direction right now. It's just kind of neutral. So whichever way it breaks, if it breaks over the 200-day moving average, could run more, and if it falls under 10, could fall even more, as there's like no support after $10. But that is PIC. Now we're gonna do KCAC, which is another SPAC, I believe. Well, I spelled that wrong. So KCAC did break out. Already have it charted, and since it broke out, it went up about 18.5%. It also had bullish divergence on the 4-hour. So it looked good for a price continuation to the upside, and that's what you got. And then in terms of the 1 day, you did just get a MACD crossover, which is obviously good, but no divergence or anything. So yeah, I mean, there's not too much other than this downsloping resistance. And usually downsloping resistances like that, if it's like a normal trading season, which it currently isn't, usually they hit around the 50% retrace. That's just like the textbook weight to target a breakout like this. So yeah, I mean, $17 is a little bit away, and you also have another resistance at, I'd say, like 1581. It was kind of used as support on September 24th, and then it was used as resistance on October 13th. So that is KCAC. Now we're going to move on to Piton, which has been falling pretty harshly. Another tech company, and I was talking about tech, social media, and streaming services on my Saturday stream, and it said they all could fall, and many of them did, like Piton, like Microsoft, like Apple, bunch of others. I can't really think of too many right now. VIR, biotech, also fell pretty harshly today. I know Beyond fell after hours, but that's not really tech. There's one more. Oh yeah, Zoom fell crazy as well. So let's move on to Piton, which is somewhere here. Appreciate the support, Narissa. I'm trying to find Piton. I think it's on my watch list. I think I took it off for whatever reason. But yeah, Piton. I put out a tweet when it did drop like 5% saying it could be a buy, but you should wait until tomorrow morning to see. And it pretty much fell to about 110 and then ran up to 130. So good 20% profit there. But then today it gapped down and is pretty much currently at $100. No divergence or anything. But you do have some decent support here. Another thing to note is that it reversed right at the 2618. I actually posted it a month ago when the price was 81 with the sell target of like $100, and obviously that got crushed. It went even further to 135 and then fell right at the 2618 Fibonacci extension. And it also it broke the parabola. It was parabolic, as you can see, going from $20 to 135, and it had this parabola or a curved upsloping support line, and it broke that about last week or something like that, and then it retested it and it could not get back above it, and then it fell down. I'm not too sure why it fell down. Earnings were last week, so I don't know how that affected it, but the only thing that it does have going for it is $100 is a psychological support, but there also is a previous resistance from September 23rd at $100, but it closed right at 100, so there's a decent chance that it can fall under that. Just didn't really hold above it too well, or currently isn't. But if it can hold 100, maybe you could see a gap fill to 122 in time. Just be careful with how tech is pulling back. Again, pretty much what I was saying on Saturday was with the tax raises that Biden wants to make, it's just not good for the high market cap tech companies, and they're already up so much, and that's why I think we're seeing a lot of these tech companies pull back, and smaller market cap companies have big days today. So yeah, if 100 breaks, the next support is 92. As you can see, that was resistance for like a good week. The first week of September, 92 was the resistance. So 92 would be the next support, and if that breaks, just be careful because there's not a lot until like $74. That is Piton. Now we're going to move on to, let's do DraftKings. David said DraftKings or Boeing. I'm going to go with DraftKings just because I already know a lot about the chart. As you can see over here, DraftKings had a head and shoulders. I warned about it on my Twitter, and I warned about it at like $48, and then it fell down to 34. But then at 34, it created classic bullish divergence, which means you had a lower low on price but a higher low on the MACD. And then on the daily, it also had hidden bullish divergence, very clear, and that's where the price reversed. And I also charted the $40 resistance level and 44. When it hit 40 the first time, it pulled back, then it went to break it, and then it went right to 44, which is what I charted. I had 40 and 44 charted when the price was about $36, and then when it got to 44, it also reversed. They also have earnings on November 13th, so keep that in mind. And maybe you could just see like a range between 44 and 40. But if it breaks out either way, maybe you'll get price continuation to whichever side it breaks out to, the up or the downside. And then earnings will probably heavily affect it. But yeah, I mean, the place to enter was really 35, probably not here. But again, they might have a good earnings, and it is down like almost 50% since October 1st. So it is down quite a bit. But yeah, that is DraftKings. Now we're going to move on to Kern. If anybody here for the 16 people in the stream wants me to look at anything, just drop it in the chat and we'll take a look. So meanwhile, I'm going to be doing Kern, which a lot of people have been talking about lately. I've been seeing it all over Twitter. Again, the macro trend is just not great, from $71 all the way down to at one point like $2. Then it recently just had a pump. It pretty much had like over a 100% rally, pretty much like almost 100%, so I was a little bit off with that. No divergence on the 4 hour that I can currently see, and nothing on the daily. Just keep in mind that there is a gap fill to $3.15, but there is really no buyer exhaustion. Keep in mind also keep in mind that earnings are on November 12th, which is this week. And I will take a look at Litecoin DI, and Kenny, I will also take a look at Sony and ABT. So we'll get to that after Kern. But yeah, not much on the 4 hour daily, if I'm being honest. Same thing with the 1 hour, just not a lot being implied on this chart, which just pretty much means it's neutral and that it can go either way. Yeah, I mean, probably the easiest way to look at this, whenever there really isn't much to look at, I just chart the local resistance and the local support. So your support is $3.80 and your resistance is $4.88, and you're literally right in the middle of that. So this chart is currently as neutral as it gets. Maybe it can continue going sideways between $3.80 and $4.88, and if it breaks either of those lines, it'll probably lead to the direction it breaks out to. But yeah, no divergence, no pattern, just a pretty neutral chart currently. Now we're going to move on to Sony. And then after that, we got ABT, which is a biotech. And then after ABT, we have, that's already on my watch list, but we have, I assume you mean the crypto DI, Litecoin. So I'm going to go with Litecoin, but if it's not the crypto, let me know. So Sony, they do have the PS5 coming out. Wait, when does the PS5 come out? Hold up. The PS5 is coming out on November 12th, so it's also coming out this week. And it's just been pulling back a decent amount. The one thing I don't like about this chart, yeah, Litecoin, got you. The one thing I don't like about Sony is how many gaps it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different gaps. So that is definitely risky. It could get some pretty nice 1 hour hidden bullish divergence, but you want to see the MACD start going back towards green before you can even call that, because who knows how low this histogram island can go. So now let's look at the 4 hour. And not much there. You did actually just get a crossover to the negative, although there was no bearish divergence. And then the daily, no divergence there either, unfortunately. And again, you're at an all-time high. So this is just very similar to a lot of the tech companies I've been talking about. Just not a lot of support for some time, and they might be suffering due to the increase or potential increase of taxes with the Joe Biden presidency. So I think that's why we're seeing a lot of tech companies pull back. But yeah, Sony honestly does not look too bullish right now. Kind of looks bearish, with a very clear bullish or bearish engulfing candle on the daily. And your next support is probably 83.90. which was a resistance in the beginning of August. But yeah, just pretty much a straight line up, and it had a bad day today with a lot of other tech companies and not a lot of support until about 83.90. So that is Sony. Now we're going to move on to ABT. After that I have Litecoin, and then for the 15 people here, if you want me to look at anything, drop in the chat. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and if you want to tip me with a message on stream, like a little pop-up, that's also I think the second link in the description. So let's look at ABT. And it kind of looks actually looks pretty decent. And this is your daily chart. So I'm trying to line this up the best way. Maybe like it looks like it's at the very early stages of an ascending triangle. And then the resistance would be like $114 or the previous all-time high. I mean, I don't know if it's been higher than that. I don't think so. So yeah, it kind of looks like an ascending triangle, which is a bullish continuation pattern. Looks pretty good, if I'm being honest. It also had hidden bullish divergence on the daily, but that already played out. After it got hidden bullish divergence, it went up over 10%. So that's already played out. Who knows if it will continue playing out or if it'll fail to do so. But on the 4 hour, you can see the ascending triangle looks a lot more clear. I don't see any gaps close by except for $105. So keep in mind there is a gap to 105, which would also bring you down to your demand line. No bearish divergence or anything. But I don't like this candle. Just two different pretty decent red candles. But what I do like is you have 1 hour hidden bullish divergence, which means you made a higher low on price, or you're working on a higher low in price, and you made a lower low on your MACD, and the MACD is already starting to go back towards green. So it definitely could get continuation. Probably the best look I can give you is it might come back down to fill the gap and test like 105, which is the demand line of the ascending triangle, and then it could probably bounce over there, assuming the market is doing decent, which who knows at this point. And then Joe says, can we take a look at HAL? Got you. Yeah, that's ABT. Now we're gonna look at a crypto called Litecoin. I think I took it off my watch list actually. I'm just gonna clear this chart because I just have a lot of old stuff on it. And I don't really like the macro pattern, if I'm being honest. Yeah, the daily does not look good at all on Litecoin. You have classic bearish divergence, which means you made a lower high on your MACD. As you can see over here, from this green island to this one, you made a lower high and it's about to cross over. And then you made a higher high on price, so that is not good. And then the support would probably be like upsloping. So it's just kind of in a channel with daily bullish or daily bearish divergence. So that's probably the best way to look at Litecoin. Oh great, Print reminded me to look at Workhorse. Definitely want to look at Workhorse. I own Workhorse. I opened a position in Workhorse today, so I'm for sure gonna take a look at Workhorse. Just a weird word to say. And then Deontay says, can we look at FIXX? Got you with that. So yeah, Litecoin daily does not look good. And the 4 hour just pretty much looks the same. So be careful with Litecoin. Looks like it'll probably come back down to test like $54, which is the demand line of the channel. And Arista says HYLN, another one I'd love to look at. Yeah, we're gonna have to see. What I don't like, Kenny says The market is bonkers right now. Let's hit another rally tomorrow. The one thing I don't like about what the market did today is it made an all-time high on the first 4-hour candle. And what I really wanted to see the market do was backtest the previous all-time high and use it as support. But it just didn't do that. It fell under the previous all-time high that we had in September. So maybe the market might come back down to 35.22 on the S&P, and then it could probably bounce there because it did break out of that downsloping supply line. But do keep in mind that the S&P has triple. Actually, no, it doesn't. It had a potential chance of getting triple hitting bearish divergence, but with the higher high today, it actually canceled that out. So actually not too bad. One thing I did not notice on the chart today was that the hidden bearish divergence got canceled. So yeah, I mean, you could probably see it backtest like 35.15, and then it might bounce there. But obviously things are very volatile, so it's a little bit hard to tell right now. So after Litecoin, we got HAL. So let's take a look at that. Yeah, it gapped up pretty heavily today, and it actually had 4-hour hidden bullish divergence, so that was good. 4-hour hidden bullish divergence, pretty clear double bottom. And then the neckline of the double bottom probably be around 1325. So the way to target a double bottom is you go from the lowest point to the neckline, and then you paste that, and your measured move would give you about 1569, which is also a gap fill. So 1577, or let me lower that a little bit. Yeah, like 1570 would be a gap fill, and also the measured move of the double bottom, 4-hour hidden bullish divergence. And the daily didn't have any divergence, but the 4-hour does look pretty decent. But this is probably not the place to enter after a huge gap up. And it could also retest 1325 to flip it into support. So that is HAL. Now let's take a look at FIXX, which is a biotech. Not a good macro trend from 31 to 985. Earnings are on November 17th. You got it, Joe. Not much on the 4-hour. And thank you to the 17 people here. I think this is the longest I've held concurrent viewers over 15. So shout out to everybody here. And the daily, not much here if I'm being honest. Actually not looking too great. It was in this channel, and it was trying to break out, but it just couldn't. And then it actually fell under and confirmed 2 different candles under the channel. And there is no support here, so probably be careful. This thing might just keep falling until earnings on the 17th, and then that could change things. But yeah, it does not look too good. Now we're going to look at Workhorse, which looks really good in my opinion for the 14 people here. This is pretty much a trade setup, but the only issue is it is a decent risk area, probably not the best place to enter. But I did buy some today in Workhorse. You got it, Deontay. Hidden bullish divergence on the daily. Lower low on your MACD, but a higher low on price. So bullish on the daily. 4-hour has classic bullish divergence, and it broke out of a downsloping flag. So bullish on the 4-hour. It's just really struggling to break 1918, which is what I'm going to show you on the 1-hour. And the 1-hour is also bullish. So this is going to look weird because there's actually 3 different patterns on the 1-hour. First, you have an inverse head and shoulders, which are these blue curved lines, bullish pattern. Then you have an ascending triangle, which is a bullish pattern. You're making higher lows on price, and you have the same exact sell wall, So whenever you get a confirmed candle close over 1912, it will be considered a breakout. It really tried to do that for like four different times today. It just really couldn't. So it really needs to close an hourly candle over 1912. And then I believe the only thing that really worries me about Workhorse is you have a bear flag, which means after a rundown, probably look a little bit clearer on the 4-hour chart. Let me fix this up. Let's make it the 4-hour chart. Okay, so what I don't like about Workhorse is it's currently in a bear flag, which means after a rundown, it is pretty much consolidating in a channel that's upsloping, which is not bullish. But here's the thing, if you can take into consideration you have classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour, hidden bullish divergence on the daily, and both an ascending triangle and inverse head and shoulders on the 1-hour, we have 4 different things that could allow this bear flag to not play out. 4 different factors lining up, and the bear flag resistance is like 2032. So if it breaks 2032, 2284 could easily be next, which is the 50% retrace of the whole entire downtrend, and it was also your previous support before the dump. So yeah, I mean, that's Workhorse. The risk here is about from where you currently are on price to the bottom of the channel. If it falls under, actually I'm gonna make that a little bit clearer. If it falls under this channel, that'll mean it'll have confirmed bear flag breakout to the downside, which is bearish. So the risk unfortunately is 1125 or 11.25%, but the reward is 20% for the first target, and then the second target would probably be $25, which is your golden retrace. So that would be 30%. So it's a 2-to-1 and a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. So not the best reward to risk, but it does have a lot of bullish factors on several different time frames. So just look at how it opens tomorrow. Really close, or it is really close to the 1812 breakout. And if it does break out of 1912, I don't know why I messed that up so badly. If it breaks out of 1912, I could definitely see like 22. I have it on my 4-hour. If it breaks 1912, it could easily see 2284, but it has to get there first. And again, there is some decent risk on this chart. I'm not saying that this is the best place to enter, but it does look like it could go soon. We'll have to see. Remember, never expect, always react. So that was Workhorse. Now we got HYLN, SLV, and then SBE. So let's head on over to HYLN. And on the 1-hour, HYLN is in this upsloping channel. I don't really have it drawn too perfectly, if I'm being honest. Hold up. Let me try and just make this look more accurate. I'm honestly just gonna do this like with regular trend lines, because it's not the most clear channel. But it's something like that. You know what I'm saying? Very clear upsloping demand line and very clear upsloping resistance line. And it was working on making hidden bullish divergence. It did make some hidden bullish divergence, but it played out very fast, probably because it's a 1-hour chart. It went up 10%, and then it hit the resistance line, and then it pulled back to $23. But that is only the 1-hour. The 4-hour, it's alright. It's just kind of in the middle of this range between 1854 and 25, but it is closer to 25, which could be a pretty deep resistance level. Again, the real place of value, which I actually went over on stream, was 1864, and it looked really good at 1864 because on the daily it had hidden bullish divergence, and it was at the previous support that it had in July, which was 1864, and that's where it bounced like almost 30%. So this is probably not the best place to enter. But if one was in, pretty much anywhere between here and 27 are at take profit levels. Just depends on how much you want to risk to gain more or less. So that is HYLN. Now we got silver, or I hope it's silver, I might be wrong. Yeah, it is a silver ETF, I believe, SLV. No divergence on the 4-hour. And no divergence on the daily. Let's see if we could turn this into a channel. Yeah, I mean, I would say that's a pretty decent channel. It's a little bit upsloping, but it doesn't really look like a real bear flag. It also is over a month old. Bear flags usually do not last a month. But no divergence at the same time, and not much support. So probably the only look on silver is this channel. It could bounce off the 2150 area, and the resistance could be around like $24, and then whichever side it breaks to, it'll probably continue going towards the up or the downside. And then Malachi says PFE, which is Pfizer, they announced a 90%, or I don't know the exact word for it, but pretty decent treatment slash cure for COVID. I have not read pretty much anything about it. I just saw headlines, so you're gonna have to do that research yourself. But Pfizer did have a good day today. And then Print says Rocket. So that's silver. Now let's go to SBE, which is another SPAC. No divergence on the daily, and nothing on the 4-hour. This looks like a ascending broadening wedge, which is a bearish pattern. Actually, kind of just looks like a channel. I don't know, it just kind of depends on how you look at the support line. It's just not too clear, but that's like the long-term pattern, and it is more towards the top of the pattern, so it definitely has a lot of room to pull back. Also has a gap fill to about 16.18, and if that breaks, it has a gap fill to 15.29, and no bearish divergence. But it is a very new chart, so there's not a lot of data in the first place. But on the 1-hour, we have a triple bearish divergence, which means you're making lower highs on your MACD, but at the same time, you're making higher highs on price, which is bearish, and it looks like it's about to cross over. So if you tie the 1-hour triple bearish divergence with the fact that it's near the resistance line of this upsloping channel on the 4-hour, looks kind of bearish to me. And then you can also pair that in with the gap fills. Doesn't look too great in my opinion, but the one thing it does have going for it is a potential support literally right under the current price, around like 1664, like 20 cents away. It was just your last swing high before this swing high. So if it breaks 1664, 1618 and 1529 gap fills would probably be next for SBE. Now we're gonna look at Pfizer. So yeah, crazy day today. Appreciate the support, Eric. Went up 14% with the news, and also it is up about 21% since the earnings, and it actually went to fill a gap today, and that's pretty much where it pulled back. So it filled a long time gap at about $41. That gap was created in July of 2019, and then it pulled back there. The support is probably like $39.10. That was used as resistance about 3 different times. And no divergence on the 4-hour, but it does have classic bullish divergence on the daily, which means it made a lower low on price but a higher low on the MACD, and also has classic bullish divergence on the RSI. So the daily time frame does look pretty good, where you have classic bullish divergence on the RSI and the MACD, and it is currently pretty much very close to back testing the $39 support. So it could easily bounce at $39, which is pretty much where it currently is. And if it does, 41 could be retested, and that's the easiest way to put it. So 39 could be support and 41 could be your resistance. Just keep in mind there is a gap down to about $37. That's probably the biggest risk on Pfizer. And now we're gonna close out the stream with Rocket, another trade setup I've been posting on my Twitter, which is in the bottom left. And since I posted it, it went up 13% and reversed right where I said it could, which was the resistance line of the falling wedge. The daily classic bullish divergence still does look good, so keep that in mind. And the classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour has actually turned into classic bearish convergence, which means the price made a lower low and the MACD also made a lower low. It's not super bearish or anything, but it's just not bullish. As you can see, that MACD is starting to move a little bit more downwards. And you know, it just did reverse at the resistance. So if it doesn't break out like literally tomorrow, it could see lower prices. And I think what makes it a little bit funny is that the earnings were, the chart is saying today, but I think the earnings are tomorrow. I don't know. Print, can you confirm when the earnings are for me? Because the chart's saying today, but I don't know if they had their earnings today. I'm not too sure about that. I was hearing that they had earnings on Tuesday. But yeah, I mean, it's at a make or break area right around earnings time. So obviously it can go either way. If it breaks out of the falling wedge, it'll probably go to $23.87 and $25. Those are like the two take profit levels. And if it fails to break out of the falling wedge, it could pretty much like dump down to $17 around there. But that is Rocket. Just see what happens in the very near future. That should be pretty telling. And yeah, Print confirms it is tomorrow morning. So you're literally at a make or break area with the earnings tomorrow morning. So as a trader, that's it's just tough because it can obviously go either way and there is not too much of an edge. And even if the chart did look good, earnings could have crushed it. And even if the chart looked bad, earnings could have done well. So you know, that's just how earnings go. So I'm sorry, but there's just not much of an edge. Just see how the earnings go and react to the price. You know the levels here, and hopefully that helps. But that is Rocket, and about a 45-minute stream. I think we covered a lot in 45 minutes. Great day for Fisker. If you want to see my analysis on Fisker, it was literally right at the beginning of the stream. So take a look at that. And then we ran through a bunch of different things. So thank you everybody who came out today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you want to tip me with the stream pop-up. That is like the second link in the description. But to close out the stream, I'm just going to look at Bitcoin, which looks pretty decent. Upsloping channel, and actually is back testing the previous resistance as support. Appreciate the support. Print just said support twice. Yeah, back testing the previous resistance as support. Could easily get hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour, and the daily, not too much to work with there. So it could easily reverse like literally right here, and then it could probably send it to about probably 15,800. If that breaks, then you have 16,000, and if $16,000 breaks, there's pretty much no resistance till 17,100. Yeah, not too complicated. This could definitely be a bounce level, and if it doesn't bounce here, maybe like 14.6 could be the next bounce level. but it does look decent in the short term, so keep that in mind. The 1 hour also just had a MACD crossover, so Bitcoin not bad. Maybe one could even call it like a pennant on the 1 hour. Kind of, it's not that clear, but something like that. I don't know, maybe we'd not even use the bottom wick and then you just angle it like this. I think that looks probably the best on the 1 hour. So I'm just gonna extend that. Just showing Bitcoin because it's in the title. Big asset that means a lot to a lot of people. So figured should definitely go over it on stream, at least to close things out. Yeah, that is Bitcoin. And again, thank you everybody for coming out. Have a good day tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow at about 9:30 or 9:45 EST. Till next time, peace out, have a good one, and I'll see y'all later.